The year is 2005. Peter Jackson's King Kong is smashing box office records. But for those of us without a cinema nearby, the real adventure was happening on a screen barely 2 inches wide, powered by batteries and sheer anticipation. Before the iPhone, before the App Store, there was the Java game. And today, we are diving into the tiny, pixelated world of Gameloft's King Kong, the official mobile game of the movie. The game is split into 9 levels across 3 cinematic environments: the dense jungles of Skull Island, the native villages, and finally, the snowy peak of the Empire State Building. 1 minute, you are controlling Jack Driscoll, the screenwriter. As Jack, you are fragile. You have a blowpipe, some darts, and a whole lot of fear. You have to navigate traps, avoid the giant insects, and solve puzzles to save Anne. Pocket Gamer UK gave the game a score of 80%, praising the effort put into the craft. IGN noted that the animation for the ape was highly detailed, moving fluidly despite the hardware limits of flip phones like the Motorola V300. The game followed the movie beat for beat. You start on the ship, reach the island, fight the natives, and battle the big V-Rex to save Anne. It culminates in that iconic scene on the skyscraper, shooting at biplanes. For a kid in 2005, fitting that entire narrative arc into a 500 kilobyte download felt like magic. For millions of kids on bus rides home or hiding under the covers, this wasn't just a tie-in, it was the blockbuster. But here is the twist. There wasn't just one game. Gameloft actually delivered 2 distinct experiences under the same license. In 2010, Capcom was riding high. Lost Planet 2 had just dropped on Xbox 360 and PS3, promising co-op chaos and giant monsters. But tucked away in the shadow of that AAA release was a version of the game that almost no one asked for, yet everyone with a flip phone was curious about. I'm talking about Java version. We are talking about a game designed to run on a Nokia N95, a Sony Ericsson, or a Motorola RZR. A game that tried to squeeze the absurd scale of a next-gen shooter into a 240x320 pixel screen and a few megabytes of storage. Well, it is one of the most spectacular train wrecks in mobile gaming history. But it is a beautiful train wreck, and today, we are going to climb inside a vital suit and walk right into the fire. The Java version actually tries to follow the console plot. It has been 10 years since the first game. The icy planet of EDN3 is melting, turning into lush jungles and scorched wastelands. You are a pirate, a member of a faction fighting for control of thermal energy, the planet's lifeblood. The mobile developers at Capcom Mobile, not Gameloft, surprisingly had an impossible task. They had to recreate the epic adventure of the console version, but on hardware weaker than a modern smartwatch. The environments are actually varied. You get jungles, you get industrial complexes, you get wastelands. Pocket Gamer's review back in 2010 called this confrontation memorable purely because of how frustrating and unfair it is. They compared it unfavorably to other bad mobile ports, saying Lost Planet 2 doesn't just fall down the stairs, it tries to hop up them just to do more damage to itself. It is brutally difficult, not because it's strategic, but because the controls are fighting you every step of the way. Look at the screen. For a Java game from 2010, Lost Planet 2 is gorgeous. The backgrounds have depth. There are incidental animations, rats crawling on the floor, fires burning in the background. The explosion effects, when they happen, are massive pixel art fireballs. Capcom Mobile clearly had artists who cared. They managed to capture the gritty, industrial aesthetic of the console title perfectly. The lighting effects, as much as you can have lighting on a non-backlit LCD, are impressive. The tragedy of Lost Planet 2 on mobile is that it looks like $1,000,000 but plays like a broken ankle. To borrow a phrase, if the hit detection was tighter, if the platforming wasn't so cruel, we would be talking about this as a hidden gem. Instead, it serves as a time capsule of the Wild West era of mobile gaming, an era where developers were trying to shove console experiences into your pocket, and sometimes they broke the zipper. In the mid-2000s, Before the iPhone changed everything, your mobile phone was a different beast. It wasn't a sleek rectangle of glass. It was a plastic brick with a pixelated screen and a number pad. And on that number pad, you could battle demons. Today, we are stepping back to 2008 to look at a forgotten gem of the Java era. Hellboy Mobile, also known as Hellboy, the stench of evil. Released by the legendary studio Konami, this wasn't just a cheap cash grab tied to the Hellboy 2, the Golden Army movie. In fact, this game charted its own path, delivering a unique, 2D side-scrolling brawler that tried to capture the spirit of Mike Mignola's comics on a screen the size of a postage stamp. The story is original to the mobile platform. It throws Hellboy into a battle against a recurring nightmare from the comics, the Nazis. Specifically, a crazed German scientist named Hermann von Klempt, who is plotting world domination again. But this isn't just a World War II rerun. Konami actually dug deep into folklore for this one. The creative team sourced the story from a Native American myth called The Maid in the Mist, tying the adventure to the formation of Niagara Falls. According to the developers, they focused heavily on the atmosphere. They used particle systems to create flickering lights, shadows, and mist, specifically to replicate the gothic, moody vibe of the Hellboy universe. Hellboy Mobile wasn't a revolutionary game. It didn't push the PSP or console versions out of the water, but it represents a specific, lost era of gaming. If you enjoyed this look back at mobile gaming history, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives. I'll see you in the next one.